Alright everyone, before you judge the title of this video and think, oh no, Styx is moving to the left, please take a listen, because it's easy to explain. I sincerely hope that Fox News completely collapses. I hope it stops existing as a company, and I hope that it completely flatlines. I hope that it jettisons all of its talent, falls into disrepair, and is eventually dissolved entirely. Why would I want this, considering the fact that, that Sean Hannity at least seems to be pro-Trump. Fox is at least less alienating towards Trump policies like populism. Doesn't go on to the social justice warrior fear-mongering train and so forth. So why would I want them to collapse? Why would I want, wouldn't that help CNN and MSNBC? No! No, it wouldn't help them. It would destroy them too. Here's why. There are two advantages to Fox collapsing, and this is just a symptom of what I spoke of in my prior video, which is TV is dying, and it is. It's being displaced by the internet and by certain on-demand sort of firms. This is just a symptom of that. It has nothing to do with, oh, Bill O'Reilly molested somebody. Sean Hannity sexually, harassed someone, which probably is untrue. I watched, by the way, weigh in on this really quick with Sean Hannity and the harassment claims. He declared that it was not true, and he did so very, very voraciously. That's the hallmark of somebody who's actually telling the truth in their explanation. I believe Sean Hannity when he says that the claims against him aren't true. Based on what he said and how he said it, being able to look straight into the audience's eyes and declare, no, it is absolutely false. That's the hallmark of somebody who's probably telling the truth, as opposed to someone who sort of goes around the question and says, oh yeah, well, I'm going to defer to my lawyer or something like that. So why would I want Fox News to fail? It's quite simple. Number one, it's great for independent content creators. Right now, there's a juggernaut of anti-leftist sentiment online. And those of us who are part of that, who analyze politics, who speak of current events, currently, even though the competition is fairly weak, and that competition is Fox and some of these other firms, having Fox gone would drive millions of more people to independent content creators. It will just hasten the demise of TV, because one of the biggest TV firms would be dead. So it'd be great for the internet, it'd be great for independent content creators, and hopefully it would liberate the minds of some millions of people. Most of them would probably just start watching some other cable TV firm, which is unfortunate. But some of them would say, screw this. We're going to go online for our content. Whether it's Drudge, Breitbart, whether it's The Blaze, whether they're watching some other alt media site or going to independent creators or some combination of that. So it'd be good on that level. The second fact, Fox News has a relatively large audience. It's the largest of all of the cable news networks. Ratings-wise, it has sort of declined a bit, but it's still the largest right now. There are certain individuals who are more popular than most of the individuals on Fox, but collectively, it's still the cable news king as far as legacy media content goes in cable TV news. If Fox were to collapse and several tens of millions of people that watch it regularly were to migrate to CNN or MSNBC, what do you think those firms would do? They are essentially also for-profit corporate entities. They take into consideration those ratings and where they're coming from. It would swing their average audience to the right. They would have to start bringing people on that would be like Sean Hannity or Bill O'Reilly or something like that. And all of those leftists that right now enjoy basically a homogenized neoliberal swill on their networks would suddenly be faced with neoconservatives piling aboard. They would. It would be natural, because they'd want to capitalize upon that potential new audience. All of a sudden, Fox News collapses, one of the first things that you'll notice is that some combination of CNN, NBC, CNBC, ABC, all these others, one or more of those firms will quietly hire a few right-wingers to be on their show, or centrists, as they'll term them, to be on their shows. They'll have like a Hannity and Colmes segment soon with Anderson Cooper. It'll be Anderson and Hannity or something like that. And it would be very funny and very surreal. And it would really limit the impact of those firms. One thing that these firms have realized is it's much better to pretend to be either really far to the left or really far to the right as a network generally and just have a few lesser token individuals arguing the other side, because then it solidifies your audience more around that sort of same partisan rhetoric that establishment politics have for so long been solidified around. But they've used the wrong strategy. You see, they either do that too much or not at all, and so they can't fully capitalize upon people. Online, it's a different story. You can get any kind of content you want. You can listen to an avowed communist, you can listen to a white nationalist, you can listen to libertarian perspectives, you can listen to a neoliberal, a neoconservative, and they have basically every possible combination of analysis that can be made is already being made. So you have a pool of libertarian commentators. One of them's a pagan, another one's like satanic, and then there's the Catholic and the Protestant, the Muslim libertarian, stuff like that. You go to like the nationalist side of YouTube, you're gonna find the same thing, a bunch of commies or something. This commie still believes in Jesus and says Jesus was a long-haired hippie, and that commie is a die-hard atheist. You can get anything you want. Literally anything. Can you get that on cable news? No, I hope Fox collapses. Some of the audience will come online. The rest will go off and poison the other legacy media networks. Because the audience is so vast, can you imagine what would happen at CNN if all of a sudden those people from Fox started watching? They'd get pissed off. They'd start sending off emails, oh, we want more, balanced content. Because all these people seem to be Democrats. And pretty soon they wouldn't be able to do that anymore. Now, would they? Otherwise, some other network would smell blood in the water. They'd say, oh, well, this other network refuses to sort of compromise its own neoliberal integrity so-called, by hiring a few more analysts and pundits that are more right-leaning. But we can do that. Let's put out an ad campaign. We'll hire them. We'll absorb that audience. Pretty soon it'll be cutthroat all over again. It'll be so cutthroat. It'll be wonderful. They'll be stabbing each other in the back. They'll no longer work together. What you saw in this election is that the CNNs, MSNBCs, and all these other firms, and the neoliberal ones, they all basically began leaving one another alone, including some of the people at Fox, like I think Shepard Smith and a few others. They started leaving each other alone. They weren't competing. They were simply echoing the same crap, pumping out the same corporate swill, because they were afraid of the chaos candidate. Though they won't be able to do that anymore. No, it'll cripple them. They won't be able to operate in such a fashion because they'll be too busy fighting off one another for the same audience. Some tens of millions of people who range from the neoconservative to maybe like the Stossel fans, the more libertarian or something. A lot of those more third wheel individuals, like Tea Party or Libertarian Fringe, they're going to pile online anyway. They're not going to bother with CNN or MSNBC. So the liberal legacy media right now is crowing over this. Like, Fox is collapsing. Bill O'Reilly's gone. I think their vice president or associate CEO, whatever the fuck his title was, I can't remember his name. He's gone, and then Sean Hannity has these claims made against him, and he comes out and he has the right response. He's like, well, this is clearly a hit job against me from an individual who's done this before for over a decade, and I believe his explanation there. However, Sean Hannity, if he really wanted to ride roughshod over his competitors as a pundit, he'd start a friggin' YouTube channel, and he'd break away from Fox and become an independent analyst and take some hundreds of thousands or millions of people with him. Oh yeah, any of these pundits, this is the other thing that the corporate, like the legacy media, hasn't realized. You best be treating the pundits well. And I know with your declining rate of return, because of your low efficiency and your ever-shrinking audience, it's more and more difficult to do this, to outcompete one another without putting your hand into, like, Hollywood or something like that to make, the money you need to keep up your propaganda. But if you don't treat the pundits well enough, some of them are going to start going rogue. We've already seen this. We see this in the alt media. Look at what happened with Rebel Media and Lauren Southern. Something like that. Somebody says, well, I'm being told to compromise my views and or other stuff is going on. I'd prefer not to weigh in directly on that because it doesn't really matter. She breaks away, and all of a sudden now, look at her popularity. Way, way ahead of where she was before. Has taken a proportion of that audience with her away from an alt media site. It's not even corporate media. What would happen if Sean Hannity or Rachel Maddow or Anderson Cooper, one of these bigger names, were to say, screw this shit. I can make, I'll crowdfund on YouTube or something like that. I'll just tweet more and I'll make YouTube videos. I'll probably be working less, The investment will be far, far lower. And I've got a lot of audience loyalty. They'll follow me to the internet. At least the younger viewers will. Some of these the average age of a Fox News viewer is 68. And that's around the same. I think CNN's was 66, MSNBC's was like 70 or something. So that's the average age of their audience. We're talking about literally, part of that is due to the fact that people watch a lot of cable news in retirement homes and things like that. It's not even a joke. So yeah, I hope Fox fails. It'll poison these other networks, bring them down fast. They're going to die anyway. There will come a day where CNN doesn't exist. It might become an online-only sort of thing with streaming news and stuff. They'll have like a YouTube crossover and a Twitch account for each pundit or something like that. That's what they'll end up having to do. They won't have a TV presence because TV is crippled. It's dying off faster than they can possibly innovate content. They can't bring it back. It'd be like a Frankenstein. It'd lumber along for a while, and then that too would collapse. It wouldn't work. A sort of a fusion won't work. So if Fox collapses, millions of people come online. Good. Very good for the world. Less people paying attention to swill propaganda. More people making content potentially, putting their opinions out there, expressing themselves, new appreciation for the right to free expression, free speech. Very good. And the legacy media has less money to spend on propaganda to fool people. That's also good. And then it poisons the other networks. It rips them apart because the so-called far-left audience, it isn't really far-left, but they're partisans. So they consider themselves to be really far-left. That watch like MSNBC. They're like, oh, I'm so far-left. Oh, war is great if there's a Democrat in office, but I'm still, trust me, I'm a total liberal. They hire like Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly to come on there and start analyzing things. What do you think is going to happen to the network? A lot of those people will flee. Either way, cable TV is losing millions and millions of people a year. And it's going to keep losing them. It's like a zombie. It's a shell of its former self. Yeah, the only movement that's going on in cable TV is the maggots wriggling around in the flesh, making it look like the corpse is still animated. That's what cable TV represents. Good riddance to them all. I hope the same thing happens to like News Talk Radio and all these other firms. Everything should be internet-based. You can have a radio station, base it on the internet. You get more interaction, you get a higher audience, helps take care of some of your overhead. And the difference is it's less censored. That's the wonderful thing about it. Don't you want to deliver uncensored, more raw opinions to people? These pundits should leave their networks. Create a YouTube account, go on Twitch or something. You'll make more money probably anyway because you don't have all the overhead. You don't need some corporation to shield you. If you want to finally be honest to people, be independent and autonomous and not have to stick with what the teleprompter tells you to do. Some of you are halfway decent at speaking. Well, put that to good use. Buy your own teleprompter. Write your own speeches, speech segments and stuff. You can still report on the news, but it'll actually be honest for once. Wouldn't that be wonderful? It'd be a wonderful world. I hope all these networks collapse as quickly as possible. Not because, Fox right wing, Fox News, FAUX, No, it has nothing to do with that. Neocons, neoliberals is the same thing anyway. That's about all. Peace out.